93 Boxing. I'm back with a quick video. Now, we've seen. Let me lay down the whole scenario. A few weeks ago, Paulie Malignaggi and Conor McGregor sparred, and initially, a few pictures was released. One picture of Paulie Malignaggi being down on the ground. Now, obviously, there was a picture before that with Conor McGregor with his hands behind his back, but that told us nothing because it's whatever, right? But Paulie Malignaggi was down, and the speculation was Paulie Malignaggi got dropped by Conor McGregor, or Paulie Malignaggi got pushed down or like slipped or some shit. And according to some people, and I didn't look too much into it because I didn't care. According to some people, Joe Cortez, who was the referee in the sparring, said that, well, it looked like that he's saying that it's no knockdown, so it was maybe pushed or shoved or something like that, or tripped. Now, Paulie Malignaggi was a bit annoyed with the fact that this was released, and Conor McGregor now is saying that he doesn't know how it was released. And he says the only one he released is where he had his hands behind his back. What happened afterwards is Paulie Malignaggi was claiming that, because keep in mind, Paulie Malignaggi's face was a bit more bruised than Conor McGregor's face. Didn't seem like it was very bruised, right? And Paulie Malignaggi wanted the whole sparring thing to be released. I think that's what I'm hearing. I can't be bothered to go into his Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Now, I've looked into the sparring footage, and they didn't release the whole 12 rounds. They only released a little bit, which is quite funny. Like, they tell you to release the whole thing, and you just release just a little bit. And Paulie Malignaggi, right, from that little snippet, if you're judging everything by that little snippet, Paulie Malignaggi got his ass whooped. Now, the main point is, did he get dropped? And it kind of looked like Paulie Malignaggi got dropped, but at the same time, it kind of looked like it didn't look like a legit knockdown either to me. Like, I felt like there was one hand behind Paulie Malignaggi's back, and Paulie Malignaggi's back of the head, and Conor McGregor was hitting him with the other hand, and it didn't seem like a legit knockdown. But I'm not making excuses, man. At the end of the day, if Conor McGregor is making you look that bad, then the whole thing is Conor McGregor shouldn't even make you look that bad, given the way that Paulie Malignaggi was saying that he beat Conor McGregor. He was whooping his ass. Now, one thing I also have to say is Paulie Malignaggi was saying that he was whooping Conor McGregor's ass, right? And you have to think to yourself, okay, if you're whooping his ass, how come he was whooping you right there? Paulie Malignaggi kept trying to make it seem like as if it was a one-sided sparring where Paulie Malignaggi was whooping him. It was not the case, man. Like, at least from there, it was not the case. Paulie Malignaggi from there got hit with a very hard straight left, and he was saying shit like, he was trying to make an excuse like, oh, if I get back in my groove, he felt like, oh, this is the type of guy that if I get back in the groove, I know that I'll be able to do well in some MMA talk or whatever. But at the end of the day, right, this is Paulie Malignaggi who comes up with a bunch of excuses, who talks a bunch of nonsense, to be honest, in my opinion. A lot of people respect his boxing and like his knowledge in boxing and whatnot, and he has knowledge in boxing. But he really is like, a lot of times he just chats shit. Paulie Malignaggi is just like a shit chatter, and I was thinking that this wouldn't happen to Paulie Malignaggi, but then again, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised either if Conor McGregor actually knocked him out, stopped him in sparring. So, what does that tell you? Because at the end of the day, look, the reason why I didn't give a shit about this Paulie Malignaggi and Conor McGregor sparring, no matter what happened in the sparring, is it doesn't matter if you can beat Paulie Malignaggi, even if you can stop him. In reality, you're fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr. You're not fighting a guy on Paulie Malignaggi's level or anywhere near him. Paulie Malignaggi even in his prime, has fell short every time he stepped up. Like he fought good competition, but when he stepped up to the top competitions, the Miguel Cottos, which is the top fighter, the Amir Khan, the Ricky Hatton, the Danny Goss. I mean, Danny Gossi was late in his career, but the Adrian Bronner, and Adrian Bronner beat him in my opinion convincingly. It was close, but I feel like he landed the cleaner shots. Bronner landed the more eye-catchy, the more cleaner shots, and yeah. I couldn't say that Paulie Malignaggi is an elite fighter even in his prime. I think he's a good fighter. He talks a lot of shit, like he's always been talking a lot of shit. And I was actually kind of happy to see Sam Eggington whoop him, to be honest. It's like I don't want Paulie Malignaggi to get hurt, but at the same time, just watching him getting whooped gives me a little sensation. It's like, that it makes me feel relaxed. It gives me a sensation of like, yes, life is going well. Finally, a guy who's been talking too much shit got whooped like he deserved. That's just how I feel about it. But Paulie Malignaggi talks a lot. I remember once, right? This guy's so passionate about his opinion, which is respectable. This is political, but I don't want to get too political into this. Paulie Malignaggi was there was a few incidences in the UK where some quote unquote terrorist attacks, right, within a week, like 3 of them in a week. But although no footage released, nothing, I personally think it's staged, but he kept talking a whole bunch of shit about that. Oh, this community doesn't do this. This community doesn't seem to care. I mean, he's basically saying the Muslim community doesn't seem to care about, and they don't seem to speak against terrorism and everything, which is kind of bullshit, to be honest, because I know what they speak about and what they don't speak about, because I've been in this community for a long time. And it's kind of bullshit. And every time Muslim communities speak, you have thousands of people speaking against it, and he doesn't say anything about that. All of a sudden, now you have acid attacks on Muslims on a daily. He doesn't say anything about that. He's a little hypocrite, man. That kind of pissed me off as well. Obviously, people can say I'm butthurt. Well, it's kind of affecting me knowing that. Like, it's like as if me and my people don't care about people committing terrorist acts. Like, of course, we're all against all terrorism from anyone, regardless of who it comes from. But this guy seems to not give a shit when a non-Muslim does it to a Muslim. But that's another topic. It's just an example of how much shit he talks. How much ridiculous shit he talks. Mr. supporting Donald Trump, thinking he's about shit. But Paulie Malignaggi, I think, personally, the reality is, what do I think? Do I think the sparring went well? I personally, to me, an honest opinion, initially it looked like a knockdown, a legit knockdown, but that you see, like they showed it from 2 different angles, right? The second angle they showed it from where the guy was right outside the ring, and he's kind of looking up to Conor McGregor and Paulie Malignaggi. On the side of where Paulie Malignaggi got dropped, that side was not clear at all. But the other side, showed later on that it kind of had a head on top of Paulie Malignaggi. You could rule it as a knockdown, but you could also argue that that's not a legit knockdown. It's not very clear in terms of what actually happened. The quality is not that clear off the camera, or at least at that video. I personally think Paulie Malignaggi probably did whoop him, or probably did better than what we think he did from watching that clip, because Paulie Malignaggi asked for releasing the whole clip, and Conor McGregor just released a little snippet. Like, why would you do that? If you're gonna release shit, release the whole thing. Maybe he got beat in most of the sparring, but Conor McGregor didn't seem to have too many marks on his face. And keep in mind, he's more lighter skin than Paulie Malignaggi, which is, you normally expect a guy to be, the lighter the skin they are, generally the easier it is to see marks. And Conor McGregor look like he didn't even get touched. So it could be either that Paulie Malignaggi did, and keep in mind, some people are saying Paulie Malignaggi wears a different kind of head guard where you can see out and there's less protection on his face. But Conor McGregor probably he did get like either Paulie Malignaggi got better of Conor McGregor in most of the sparring. That's why McGregor didn't release the whole tape, or it's because McGregor doesn't want Floyd Mayweather to know. Because I do feel like McGregor probably believes he could win, and McGregor probably doesn't want to release the whole shit because he doesn't want to reveal how good he is, maybe his game plan and all that. I don't know. But let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, comment down below. 93 Boxing. I'm out.